I'm approaching zero in. Roll the board and round one in. Gonna find that king and find her out. Put my ball in the pocket and knock them all down. Gonna crank it up. Let's rock them up. Gonna crank it up. Let's swing them up. Get ready to bowl now. Strike out today. Get ready to bowl. Strike out today.
Ah, yes, it is. Good afternoon, happy Easter, and happy holidays to all of you. One of the largest crowds of the season here for the finals of the Bowling Proprietors United States Open. $225,000 is the total prize money here at Roseland Bowl in Canandaigua, New York, with 40 going to the winner. Hello again, I'm Chris Schenkel. We hope you'll enjoy our telecast this afternoon. In fact, I know you will, because we have 4 great bowlers here today, and this is the second leg of bowling's Triple Crown. First, we want you to meet Tony Westlake, a 4-time winner from Edmond, Oklahoma. He's in the first match against Zanesville, Ohio's Ted Hannes. Now, the winner of that match will meet Ballard Jr. of Texas, going for his second United States Open championship. Our tournament leader is Walter Ray Williams Jr. of Stockton, California, going for his second title of the year. And the newly crowned champion of the Open will face our King of the Hill, Jason Couch. In 1978, that lad from St. Louis won the United States Open. And here he is, my colleague, Nelson Burton Jr. Bo.
Thank you, Chris Schenkel. The second jewel of bowling's Triple Crown. Now, all year long, we've had a high-scoring environment on the PBA Tour. In fact, last week at the Tums Classic, it took a 229 average to reach the top 24. However, in the U.S. Open this week, a 206 average was enough, a very tough scoring condition. And on these tough scoring conditions, there's a premium on a couple of things. Number 1, accuracy. Number 2, spear making. And number 3, steady nerves. This all makes for very competitive matches. And I think the tough task in front of today's finalists is going to be who can control all these factors. An also interesting point will be Walter Ray Williams Jr. He dominated this field by over 500 pins in 7 days, and he can reassert himself as the #1 computer-ranked bowler in the world with his first major win today, Chris, and a lot of money at stake besides a major.
Yes, the big total of 225, 40, 22, 12, and 8. Bowling Proprietors of America, some 3,200 bowling centers are members of this trade association. 76,000 total lanes. But this afternoon, live and in color from Canandaigua, New York, only the championship pair, 2 of them, will be used. Ted Hannes, big and strong from Zanesville, Ohio, returning to the wars, shooting first. And the bowler who was out here full-time from 1980 to 88 and then quit because he ran out of funds and also wanted to see his kids grow up.
Not a bad idea. Ted has always been a tough competitor, and when he gets close to winning, he has proven his mettle. Right now, he's trying to make a slight comeback as a part-time bowler.
Big and tall, 6'2", 190. Tony Westlake has been on our telecast many times. In fact, this is his 29th appearance, has a 219 average in 45 games. Right lane. And the man who last won in Green Bay, August 1991, was on earlier this year in Portland.
No weaknesses in this man's game. Tough Tony. Look at how steady his head is. Shoulder high swing. You're going to see that today, that nobody has that real high arm swing. You need accuracy and control, and he goes perfectly through that ball and just bushwhacks the 5 in the first frame.
Lost it out in the lanes, a big double. Third in the AC Delco Classic, true value this year. But the last time he won in 1991, it was at Green Bay, and earlier that same year in Portland. And he, with a somewhat unusual style, Bo, cranks one in.
You're right, Chris. Somewhat of a serpentine style, a 3.5-step delivery, as so to speak. Ted Hanna's a good concentration, but drifts very much to the left. Now, he cocks his wrist in this point, but after the push away and he walks a little bit more to the left, he drives right through the shot and keeps his hand behind the ball. Look at those hands coming directly underneath the bowling ball. One of the major things that everybody must do is stay under the ball, not around it.
He has sort of early Easter shoes on today. In color. Oh, yes. That's a confidence builder right there for a man that hasn't been out here that much, but wants to make an impression, and he's doing just that against this man who's perfect in 2 frames. And Tony happy with that because he saw the split possibility.
You're right, Chris. He drifts a little bit high. He has the 4, 6, 7 standing. And one of the keys this week is the good loft and speed as he drives out the 6 and 10 with the 3-pin is to fill the frames. You must make spares. Anybody who could not make spares was out of this tournament.
Okay, Tony Westlake has his sights aimed high today.
Well, Bo, I've won 4 tournaments on the tour, but I feel like that if you win a major, it really brings your name up to the top level of the other bowlers where I feel like I belong.
Chris, that's a good point. I think he's one of the real underrated players out here. Tough Tony.
3-bagger for the Oklahoman. We're in Canandaigua, and here in Canandaigua, it's a town that can be found on the northern end of Canandaigua Lake. Believe me, it's a beautiful sight. A little early, but when full spring comes here, it's a place to be.
Presenting the Yardman 3-in-1 self-propelled mower. It mulches, bags, discharges, has a 6-speed drive, and a ferocious 5-horsepower engine, all for the price of much tamer mowers. Yardman mowers and tractors, made in America.
The twin blade from Bic?
What's in it for me?
This is new? A twin for normal skin and a twin for sensitive, right?
It was good.
The new Bic Twin Select. Made a Bic man out of me.
Dear Thompsons, I used Thompson's Water Seal waterproofer on my redwood furniture. My brother-in-law Louis used another brand on his redwood gates. After intense rain, my furniture was like new. His gates swelled shut. Thompson's has no match. Sincerely, Lowell Salzer.
The trivia question, Earl Anthony and Mike Lemongello. Earl winning the PBA National, Mike Lemongello winning the US Open, the PBA National. And Chris, your vast expertise of sports, can you name the race car Indy driver that won all 3 Triple Crown events in a single year?
Can I take a try?
Go for it.
Well, let's see. The same year you won the US Open, 1978, Al Unser Sr. won Indy, Pocono, and Ontario. How about that one?
Jeez, that's why you're 4-time announcer of the year, the man, Chris Schenkel. He always knows the answers. Now, right now, Ted Hannes leads by 2, can extend to 12, 4th frame, double up.
Oh, bad break.
Really tripped the 4-pin on this lane in the 2nd frame. This time the 2-pin goes to sideboard, twists between the 4 and 7s, and does not quite take out the 4-pin. You see the deep, extreme inside, demanding line. 3rd pin, the left-hand part of the screen, twists between the 4 and 7s, does not take out the 4. Easy spare.
Okay. Ted Hannes hasn't been a regular touring pro, as we said a while ago, but he really sounds motivated today.
I've practiced more in the last 3 or 4 years than I ever have. The regional program at the headquarters region has helped me along. I've won 7 regionals in that span, and I think that has helped lead to being competitive with the guys on tour. And I also gained my desire back this year when the resin balls came out, so that's helped strengthen my game too.
And that baby just didn't come out, Bo.
Yeah, Chris, that's why we said so demanding. The PBA has oiled the lanes approximately 43 feet, and if you whip the ball outside the 10th board, it just keeps on sailing. Now, if we were in a high-end scoring environment, that would have come back. And there's wife Julie and daughter Megan Henna's on the left. Daughter Megan, 8 years old. Julie, one of the sweet people that enjoys the tour. Now Ted for the 1-2-4. Hard to pick up once you miss a spare, especially in the low-scoring, almost difficult to string strike environment. He never gives the head pin a chance. Slides by Tony Westlake with a big opening, 5th frame.
So he has left to 3-6 on the right lane.
There's a couple of things we see on the Pro Bowlers Tour when we have a high-scoring environment. Take Sayville, the Johnny Petraglia Open, last week's Tums. If you miss a board or two to the right, the ball will come back. If you miss a board to the left, it'll kind of hold. Not true today. You must splice the target.
All right, we're in our very first match. If you just joined us, the finals of the United States Open. The winner will meet Ballard Jr., who won the Open in 1987.
Tony Westlake also playing that extreme inside line. Now, Tony plays a little less hook some of the other players. He'll be in this zone. He'll slide right around here. He'll walk in this area slightly left. Very demanding.
And then in the next game, the winner of it will meet our tournament leader, Walter Ray Williams, Jr., and the winner of the championship match will go against Jason Couch, King of the Hill.
The serpentine approach of Ted Hannes. He'll start here. Now watch, he'll drift around the ball return rack and actually slide in this area. That's a lot of ground to cover, a very difficult approach and shot.
A miniature tiny camera overhead just by the foul line.
That's interesting what you,
yes.
Excuse me, Chris, you saw there is that the ability to drift around the ball return on the right-hand lane, that'd be the even number of lanes in the 60-lane bowling center, has played a tremendous role in who makes the championship round. Now you can see on the left-hand lane where I have plenty of freedom. Remember, the ball return rack was in his way on the other lane. He'll play almost the same line, and you'll see him slide way over in this area, but he won't have to worry about this ball return rack. Much freer shot.
Big must. Now he trails by only 3 pens. Canandaigua Lake's water levels have reached record heights this year, as indicated by these boat slips.
Around the turn of the century, in a small Detroit carriage shop, Harvey Firestone met a fellow young inventor named Henry Ford. Firestone tires have been seen almost everywhere ever since. On Fords, Chevrolets, tractors, trucks, Indy Lights, and Saturns. Firestone, America's tire since 1900.
When the camera starts to roll, even one flake of dandruff can ruin it all. That's why I use Head & Shoulders. You know, it's even better than it was just a couple of years ago. Today, it gets to 10 times more of the places dandruff starts. Because great hair can't have flakes.
Hey, in LaPorte, Indiana, this is what makes Ace the place.
We're problem solvers.
Right now, this Rubbermaid 2.5-gallon poly gas can is only $2.49. Plus, get these quality Ace fertilizers for your lawn.
Hey, Ace is America's place for answers.
A world-class field goes head-to-head as the Jeep Superstars continues. Plus, celebrate the International Special Olympics all next on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
We're in the Empire State, way up north in Canandaigua, New York, for the finals of the United States Open. 40,000 the winner. This is our first match. This man leads by 3, can up at the 13. Tony Westlake. realize that. All right, the 1982 United States Open winner, that young man from Milwaukee, Oregon. Here's Dave Husted. David?
Thanks, Chris. I'm here with Del Ballard, the 1987 U.S. Open champion. Del, the guys out there really look like they're hitting the pocket well today. The lanes were tough this week. Are the lanes different for you today?
No, they're pretty much the same. I think it's going to be the battle of the right lane. Whoever can strike on the right lane can, with the ball returning the way, can then take advantage of the left lane.
Well, there you got it. Del's going to be tough today. Back to you guys.
Thank you, David. Two of the really great guys in all of professional bowling, Del Ballard and Dave Husted.
And Tough Tony has just put the squeeze on Ted Hannes. Once again, we talked about that ball return rack. Ballard has something to say about it. Dave Husted, who bowled well in this tournament. And right now, he needs to conquer this right-hand lane to stay competitive in the match. He trails by 23.
Oh, the scout. Where was he? No?
Well, I think the scout went straight back between the 4 and 7 pins that time, Chris, and hopefully it could have tripped the 4 into the 9. Not to be, and Ted Hannes, right now with a conversion, will trail by 24 through 8 frames.
Well, as they say, this country is not big enough for the world's best bowlers. So what do? We move into Canada, and that's the blessing. Can't wait to go to Toronto. New tournament on ABC's Pro Bowlers Tour. It's the IOF Foresters Open next Saturday, ABC Sports. First time the PBT will have an international telecast. Toronto. Bo will hit a few museums there, pal. The man that won 9 regional titles in his career to go along with 3 national championships, Ted Hannes.
All right, Tony Westlake leads by 24. He's going at a 228 pace. And what I mean by pace, let's give him spare strike. The rest of the way, he'd be in around the 228. Hannes, a possible 224. Here's the big shot. Boy, does he look sharp. And I'll tell you, his game, that short swing, the ability to loft the ball, speed control, angle control, versatility is really coming to play in this first match. All the way for 7 days to get to this position is tough enough, but now he's put himself in a position where just a good, solid mark will lock up the match.
His best U.S. Open was 4th in the 1990 at Indianapolis. On a roll at the end, Tony Westlake.
Watch the action on the left-hand part of your screen. The 4-pin is driven by the 2. The 2 just taps out the 7, and that's lockjaws for Tough Tony Westlake. He'll be going against a 3-time major winner, Del Ballard Jr.
And for Ted Hannes, we can only say, hang in there, because it's great to have you back. Wonderful young man from Zanesville, Ohio.
Despite all his ability, I don't think Ted will ever become a solid touring player again. He likes staying home with his wife and 3 children, has a solid business in that area, and still very competitive. Kind of a fun life.
Bowls once a week in a league in Columbus, Ohio. It's a round trip of about 120 miles. 2:45 for the winner, Tony Westlake.
Hannes can finish out at 224 with 3 more strikes. Well, just too much toy, as they say out here on the tour on that shot. The ball did not respect the deflection of the 1 and 3 and chopped the 5 straight off the 9. Still a solid performance by Hannes.
But he'll pick up a check for $8,000. Tony's one step closer to getting the final match. 40 to the winner, 22 for the runner-up. All right, it's a 202 for Ted Hannes. 2:45 for Westlake as ABC Sports Presentation Professional Bowlers Tour. We'll return after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
There are a few American classics, but only one Kentucky Derby.
Hey, Willard Scott here, talking with the good folks who shop at True Value. The question, is it the personal service or the low prices?
Large selection, low prices, good quality merchandise that they do carry.
You go in the big chain stores and you try to find somebody to answer a question for you.
The value is good, the selection is great.
For personal service and low prices, bring your family to ours, the True Value family of stores.
Yes, it's definitely a personal touch here.
Ninjas do two things very well. They react. And they attack. Nothing blows them away like a ninja. The AMF Ninja, available today.
Saturday, on a special 2-hour commish movie.
Maybe we could get into bed together.
Tony goes undercover in a New York porno ring. The Commish, Adventures in the Skin Trade, Saturday.
This week on America's New Country, we have debuts from Joe Diffie, John Michael Montgomery, Tracy Byrd, and the ANC debut celebrity-filled Garth Brooks video of We Shall Be Free. This week, we'll be going backcountry, backstage, and behind the scenes to visit with Canadian-born Shania Twain, hot newcomer Tracy Byrd, and the always interesting and fun Pam Tillis.
America's New Country, tonight at 7 on WHTM.
With the Lilac. Enter the Lilac in Rochester, New York. Bowl for over $1 million.
It's our 25th anniversary, and any bowler with a sanctioned average can win.
Have fun at the Lilac and bowl for great cash prizes. Win with the Lilac.
There's teams, doubles, singles, and 4 new bonus singles events.
It's our 25th year. We plan to pay over $1 million.
Enter the Lilac.
Call 1-800-36-LILAC now. Win with the Lilac.
Carl Ravitch has the scores and more on 27 News. The Professional Bowlers Tour is brought to you by True Value. Got a tough job to do? You can do it with True Value Hardware Store. By Bud Light. If you want great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light. And by Sure Solid. Has the most effective wetness-fighting ingredient you can buy. When dryness counts, be sure to be dry.
And here at 60 Lane Roseland Bowl, Tony Westlake with 8 strikes defeated Ted Hanna's 245 to 202, which means that Tony will go against longtime competitor and friend Del Ballard Jr. of Texas. So here we are, and we have just enough time here to get a bow info, I call it. Some information about bowling. Help us all.
Well, thanks, Chris. We have a helpful hint today for all the bowlers, and basically it's about the pins and how to hit them, knock them down, really. The pins are an equilateral triangle, and they're all set 12 inches apart, and basically they're the object of all our shots in the bowling. However, they're a difficult 60 feet away. Now there are some guides which will help us knock them over. Number one, on the approach, there are 7 dots, which basically they are set in this area. Now 15 feet farther down are the arrows. Now these also have some relation to the pins, and we'll tie them all together right here in a minute. Now you go all the way down to the pins, and you'll see that all of these have an effect on how you line up. What you need to do is we compress the picture as you have the pins, the arrows, and the dots. Look at how they all line up. Very important to realize that all the pros, as you see them looking down on the approach, use this type of system to line up. So there you have it. You can use the dots for your feet, the arrows for your eyes, and hopefully knock down more pins for everybody, Chris.
Thanks, Nelson. This is the United States Open, and we have Del Ballard coming in now as Westlake's opponent. Ballard winning the Open in Tacoma, 1987. Winning the ABC Masters in 1988, and in 1989, the Firestone. So for Tony, at whom we're looking, formidable opponent. Leaving a 4-pin on the left lane.
Tough Tony got that reputation from his ability to strike in the clutch from the very get-go as he came out here on the Professional Bowlers Tour. And I tell you, I think it's his challenge match game experience that he got in the Texas-Oklahoma area that really set him up and made him so tough out here. He looks tough on the lanes, but a nice guy off.
And one of the really fine pool players. So if he comes to your town, be careful. Tony Westlake is his name. Pool is one of his talents. Now Del Ballard. There he is, the man that has been a PBA member for 11 years with 11 titles.
Some more world-class form here as you see the 5-step delivery of Del Ballard. He has his wrists kind of cocked like you saw in Hannah's, but look at this portion here. He has the shoulders exactly open to the amount of swing he's going to have. And he's going to drive straight through towards the foul line, keeping his eye on the target, the high follow-through, and good wrist action.
Del's last win was a year ago in Sayville. Now, footwork of Tony Westlake, his position on the approach.
Tony stays loose, has a little 5-step short delivery, very solid. Hello, he went to the out of bounds there once again. If you miss a board and a half to the right of your target at the arrows, today you will slide by. He's left himself the 1-2-10 washout. What he needs to do is get the ball to the other side of the head pin and drive the head pin into the 10. Very important to Phil Frame's match play competition.
Open frame for Tony Westlake, winner of the first game, 245 to 202. Calm. He doesn't show his emotions very much, but doesn't like that minus 24 to the right of his name.
He'll come back. Tony can put that behind him. Well, that's one of the keys of bowling on a tough condition. Forgetting one bad shot and get right back to the action.
So he's left at 2-5 now.
He'll use a lot of speed, very little hook. Tony Westlake is one of the few players the sponsor came to him. Richard Altman, our Choice Hotels host on ABC in the summer, came to him and begged him to go on tour. He said, "You're too much talent to be sitting around here working as a restaurant salesman." And here's Tony Westlake.
All right. You know, tomorrow on ABC Sports, our country's greatest skaters compete. Boitano, Hamilton, Trenery, Davis, Carrigan, other stars spin into action because it's the Hershey's Kisses Pro-Am Figure Skating Championship. Tomorrow at 4 Eastern, 3 Central Pacific on ABC. Del Ballard now has strung 3. Match play 214, 204. Del Ballard explains why he fares so well in the major tournaments.
Well, I think I do well in the long format tournaments because you have more time to prepare for each block. You only bowl one set of 8 games per day for qualifying. It allows you to have a little extra time to prepare for the problems that you have while you're bowling. You can drill another ball. You can, do several things to prepare for it.
All right. He is wired with a wireless microphone. A very popular sport in this community in upstate New York is lacrosse. Here's a peek at just one practice session. Lacrosse, one of the features on ABC's Wide World of Sports today. Over at Syracuse University, great
Start a project with Minwax Wood Finish and turn new into treasured, ordinary into extraordinary, even pine into cherry. Because Minwax Wood Finish makes it easy to turn any project into a beautiful masterpiece. Minwax makes wood beautiful.
Just in time for National Woodworking Month, Minwax introduces Wood Beautiful, an exciting new magazine devoted to decorating with wood. Make your home more beautiful. Get your free magazine. Call 1-800-44-STAIN.
Sure. Unsure. Sure. Unsure. Sure. Unsure. When dryness really counts, be sure to be dry. Sure Solid has the most effective wetness-fighting ingredient you can buy. For dryness no one can beat. So you're either sure or unsure. Sure. Unsure. Be sure to be dry.
It's your passport for high-rolling action. The world's best bowlers are leaving the country and storming into Canada for the ILF Foresters Open next week on ABC's Pro Bowlers Tour.
Here at Roseland Bowl in Canandaigua, New York, on a rainy day, but inside warm and packed. Del Ballard has strung 4 in a row. He leads his opponent, Tony Westlake, by 44, and here's Tony. Spare up, shooting in the fourth frame. Tony won the first match, if you just joined us, over Ted Hannes, 245 to 202.
It's amazing how quickly it can get away from you in a very difficult spare again for Tony Westlake, who was this sensational first match. Get the ball to the left of the head pin, let him just domino down the side. He'll convert the spare, however, he'll be trailing by 48 with a conversion.
There's his second open. So let's open the microphone, held by one Dave Houston.
Thanks, Chris. I'm here with tournament leader Walter Ray Williams. Walt, you've been bowling great all year. You've dominated this field. Is there any added pressure on you for winning your first major today?
I wouldn't say there's any added pressure, but whoever I bowl is going to be a great player, and I'm just going to go out there and bowl the best game I can, and hopefully I'll beat him.
Best of luck. You've been bowling great. Back to you, Chris.
Okay, tough second match for Tony Westlake. Spare, open.
Watch the 2-pin on the left-hand side of your screen. It'll go to the sideboard, get caught between the 4 and 7, trips out the 4, and leaves the 9. He'll make this spare.
Okay, with a 4-bagger, Del Ballard now of Richardson, Texas, comes up 5th frame. Pins are falling. Jason Couch, last week's winner, our King of the Hill, is staying loose, as is our tournament leader, who you'll see next, Walter Ray Williams Jr. Del Ballard's spare.
Del Ballard's playing an angle to the pocket, very similar to what Connie Schwagler did back in the 1940s. The great Connie Schwagler won this tournament, was called the National Match Game, playing a deep inside line. And that's what the players are playing today. Look at Del. Now he'll drift a little to the left. His target will be almost down in here. This line, stay right underneath it and don't try to help it.
Roll. Del's best finish this year was 4th at Erie.
Now, see, a shot like that is a potential strike in a high-scoring environment for 2 reasons. The ball will drive through the pins more. See that ball deflect around the 5-pin? If you have the extreme outside line, it'll bite in the 5-pin, give you a strike, loosen you up. However, not to be in a demanding condition like this.
There he is, Del Ballard, proud owner of a 1967 Shelby Mustang.
Tough Tony has to get on the stick here. Trails by 57, 6th frame.
Beautiful shot by Tony Westlake of Edmond, Oklahoma. Here you see money leaders, Ron Williams, Walter Ray, will move ahead, either 40 or 22 today. John Mazza, Palumbi, Bob Learn.
And Deadeye leads the averages. The old record on the PBA Tour for a full year was 221 by Mark Roth. And right now, the pace everybody's going at, Roth's record will be down the line.
It's a smile of gratitude.
Bud Light, the official beer of league bowling in the Professional Bowlers Tour, brings you the Bud Light Bowling Hall of Fame Tournament. Registration for local qualifying is going on now. Contact your local bowling proprietor for more information.
Hey,
I'm traveling across America to see what makes Ace the place. Take Tom Weinmiller's Ace Hardware here in Norton, Ohio. At Tom's Ace store, you just find better ways to get stuff done. It just goes to show you, Ace is America's place for better ideas.
Twice a day, every day. All it takes is a milk bone.
A world-class field goes head-to-head as the Jeep Superstars continues. Plus, celebrate the International Special Olympics all next on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
From Winter Garden, Florida, our king of the hill, Jason Couch, a left-hander. He awaits the winner of the United States Open Championship.
Ballard up, 7th frame, leads by 47 pins.
So Del Ballard would like to repeat a United States Open Championship.
As a penchant for winning majors, he's won the ABC Masters, the US Open, he won in Tacoma, and the Firestone. All right, he's going to be playing around the 4th arrow. He's going to be going here, here, watch the angle, the ball just over the edge of the gutter. And hey, how about the 5th arrow on that one?
Bowling balls today, the colors of Easter eggs. Look at them. Amazing.
Well, Dell's not using a reactive resin bowling ball today, and his control of the ball all week long has been a factor. He's got tough Tony on the ropes. Tony has to throw strikes.
Here's good news. Next Sunday, the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs begin on ABC Sports. We'll bring live regional coverage of the opening games to both the East and West Coasts. Next Sunday at 1 Eastern, 12 noon Central, and 12 noon Pacific. All live on ABC Sports. Ooh, I love hockey.
Tony has to keep striking. He has a chance. Here you go, the 2-pin, 3rd pin on the left-hand part of your screen is going to go to the sideboard, cut between the 4 and 7 pins. Not knock out the 4, and they speak a little Spanish out there in the Southwest. And Tony, it's adios. It's going to be a 3rd place finish in the US Open.
But it'll be a check for $12,000.
Del Ballard Jr., who with former U.S. Open champion David Houston on the sidelines, says the lanes are very equal today, and he's proven it.
Wow.
Potential 268.
He threw in the towel.
Well, two champions like this, they go back and forth. Right now, Del has gotten the better of Tony Westlake, but you never end up having the what we call the hex on a guy like Westlake. He'll come back and bite you. So enjoy it while you have it. Del, you're going to bowl for your 2nd U.S. Open championship against Deadeye Walter Ray Williams.
Well, in other words, you better save a few maybe, huh?
Well, I'm going to set something up for you here. You watch Del Ballard. Here comes the towel in. You've covered a lot of boxing matches. When you see that happen, Cripps, there's a story to that.
You know, it's the first time I've seen it in bowling. Saw it in boxing a lot. Saw it when it didn't happen and should have, you know. Okay, Del Ballard.
Potential 260. And to set up the championship match, it's going to be Walter Ray Williams Jr. against Del Ballard. They have bowled twice, Chris, for major titles. Ballard has beaten him for the Firestone and the U.S. Open title. 2 majors won by Ballard over Walter Ray.
2 gunslingers. They'll come out of the chute. You can count on that. California and Texas.
You have to bowl on these lanes to know how good that score is. Here comes Tony as a potential 200. Not enough. A solid performance.
And, of course, Tony had a big 245 in his first game victory over Ted Hannes, who shot a 202.
That 268 bowled by Ballard is just about as good a score on this condition as you can get. What makes the lanes maybe a little more scoreable today are two factors. One, the pressure of the U.S. Open, the players get up for it. And number two, you don't have a lot of bowlers out there playing. You only had 4 right-handers and 1 left-hander warming up, so they didn't push the oil around too much. So very competitive and tough shot. The players are handling it.
200, 268. This week, Choice Hotel International's Tip of the Week features a father and son act, both of whom you'll know.
ABC Sports presents A Winning Never Gets Old Bowling Tip, sponsored by Choice Hotels International. Here's bowling great Dick Weather.
As many of us get older, the cliche, like father, like son, sometimes comes into play. That's not quite true in the Weber household. My son Pete, who is a Triple Crown winner, has a completely different style than I did when I was his age. Pete's style is to overpower the ball and crank it. My conservative style featured more finesse. The height of his backswing is nearly over his head, while mine was about shoulder high. And his slide to the foul line is much longer than mine due to the speed of his approach. One thing I can say, now 30 years later, is that I have not had to change my conservative style due to my age. I really don't know how long Pete can maintain his overpowering style without making any adjustments. So for you seniors who have a conservative style and watch these young crankers in awe, remember, winning never gets old.
Look for more ABC Sports Winning Never Gets Old bowling tips, sponsored by Choice Hotels International.
There are gut balls and gutter bowls, and sometimes the trophy falls. But no matter what, you'll love the bowlers who have it all on ABC Sports Home Video, Bowling the Perfect Game. Call 1-800-4ABC-VCR to order bowling's colorful history, narrated by Chris Schenkel and Nelson Burton Jr. This collector's home video can be yours to enjoy for only $14.98 plus $3.95 shipping. That's 1-800-4ABC-VCR.
You know, I'm always teaching bowlers how to put fingers into the shot, not just the ball. But you can also use your fingers to save money. If you're 50 or over, just call 1-800-4CHOICE, and you can save 30% at Choice Hotels like quality, comfort, Clarion, and sleep. 30%. Now that's what I call aiming for the pocket.
Travelers 50 and over save 30% at any of the 7 brands in the Choice Hotels family.
Hey, kid, how about a float?
There's nothing like the authentic frosty mug taste of an A&W root beer float. One taste and it will really bring back memories. A&W, our frosty mug taste brings you back.
When the pressure mounts, what do the ambitious bowlers think about?
I have to stay calm, be relaxed, and win this thing.
And what do the really ambitious bowlers think about?
Okay, I gotta win this thing quick and get to a TV fast so I don't miss the Jeep Superstars on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
The world's greatest athletes go head-to-head in the finals of the Jeep Superstars. Plus, they're off at the Wood Memorial Invitational.
And the Wood Memorial? Come on, man, throw the ball, throw the ball.
Don't miss ABC's Wide World of Sports right after bowling next Saturday.
And John Mazza, that's next Saturday, along with Toronto. But right now, match 1 recap. Westlake defeating Anna's 245-202, 8 strikes. Then Del Ballard with 10 strikes holds a 268 to Westlake's 200, which earns him the right to go against Deadeye, the Errol Flynn lookalike, Walter Ray Williams Jr. of California, for the U.S. Open Championship. Perhaps the largest crowd of this year, and there was a large field that took part.
You're right, Chris. This week it was 144 pros and 96 league players. Look at that average game, 194, 206 to make the top 24, as you see some of the other finishers. Bob Learn's always been tough here. Mike Edwards really got a bad break last night. Could have made the top 5. Defending champion Robert Lawrence. Guest announcer David Houston. Butch Soper had spares and did not miss a spare in 26 consecutive games. That's how he got that high. Some of the other standouts in the field. Look at all those champions. Ozio, Andy Nyer, Joe Hutchinson just got knocked out of the Firestone. The Big D, Dennis Jakes, Ricky Ward, who was at the King of the Hill champion for a couple weeks, round out the top 24. 60 players cashed this week.
And, of course, with the big purse, the winner's share here today will be $40,000. And the big one up in Toronto, Canada area, Markham, Ontario. Get out there and see the greatest professional bowlers go in the IOF Foresters Open. We'll televise the finals a week from today. 2 weeks from today, the final stop on our Tour of 16 for the Winter Tour. $300,000 Firestone Tournament of Champions. A Firestone winner, Del Ballard, will shoot first. He won that major event in 1989, preceded by 1987 US Open victory in Tacoma.
Come on.
10-pin, and the crowd is with it.
In that 89 Firestone victory, the major title, he defeated Walter Ray Williams Jr. 254 to 218. So he has had the best of Walter in 2 major tournaments, trying to make it 3.
Walter's best U.S. Open title chances, his best finish, 8th last year right here, but he is the tournament leader. Five-time World Horseshoe Pitching Champion, 1986 Player of the Year. Watch him.
The hottest man in all of bowling, Walter Ray Williams Jr. just has everything in perfect position. Folks, take a look at this. Look at the head, everything driving perfectly forward. Absolute parallel lines to the target, and right now he is the leader in all 6 categories on the Pro Bowlers Tour, from money to average to appearances.
It's Walter Ray's 6th telecast this year, 51st overall, and he left the 4-pin.
Voted the best spare maker on the tour for a number of years, and that's one of the reasons he has gotten to this point. He fills the frames game after game after game.
For the United States Open, Del Ballard way to the left on the approach on the right lane.
Come on.
5'10", 205 pounds, 29 years old, 11 titles, and as we indicated, his best 1993 finish, 4th, and that really bothered him.
Little mental preparation here. Bowling quickly, doesn't take much time. He knows what he wants to do.
Oh, thank you, gosh. What was that?
Avoided
come on,
split.
Come on.
Well, you can hear the self-commentary of Del Ballard as he goes right through the middle and breaks up the 4-6 split. He says, thank you very much, and what did I do there? You just forget a shot like that, make the spare, and hopefully stay in the match.
Both professionals are mic'd or sound. They may not say too much in this championship game.
3-year Firestone exemption to the winner of this tournament.
And what do you have to do to knock down this 7-pin?
Well, he just compressed those pins so much. He drove the 2 into the 4. Watch the action on the left-hand part of your screen. He's just going to smash the pins down. The 2's going to drive the 4-pin straight back and then just kind of get caught up in the channel. A very tough break. That should have been a strike.
All right, Walter Ray Williams led today's tournament field by 537 pins, but certainly isn't acting overconfident.
These bowling matches in a one-game match, nobody's ever locked to win, but I definitely think I have an advantage. I only had about a 50-pin lead going to the match play, and I found a nice line playing around the second arrow, and I just pulled away from the field and played a shot that most of these guys couldn't play.
The lanes are tough, though.
You're right, Chris, and two things have happened here. One, he leaves a 4-9 split as the ball jumps real sharply at the back end. The 2 goes around the 4, and he leaves a 9, and Walter leaves this quite often. He has a power roll, but he doesn't have much break, and so he smashes the pin straight back. A tough shot.
We're in the championship match of the United States Open. Canandaigua from April till November. The Sport of Kings is off and running just up the road from Roseland Bowl.
It's a Sears Die Hard, no charge.
Across America, people are witnessing a better approach to car care.
Don't worry, you've got Sears road hazard coverage.
Thanks a lot.
It's an approach that gives you total satisfaction and total confidence. At Sears Tire and Auto Center, we've brought in the best selection of name brand tires. And our price matching policy means we won't be undersold. We offer the protection of free emergency jump starts with the Die Hard battery, road hazard coverage, and a coast-to-coast warranty on all brake work.
Take it from your dad, Archie. Always bring your car here.
Sears Tire and Auto Center. Driven to satisfy. When what you eat and drink gives your stomach a surprise, you want a medicine that works directly on your stomach. Pepto-Bismol. As it coats, Pepto delivers powerful medicine right where you hurt. Pepto-Bismol.
And there they are, the Triple Crown winners. And, of course, the United States Open is the middle jewel of the Triple Crown. Billy Hardwick, Johnny Petrag, and Pete Weber. There is Johnny Petraglia, wearing the jacket.
One of these two men will wear that jacket in 6 more frames. Ballard has a 14-pin lead.
Come on, come on. Hit it, hit it.
Little 10-pin on the right.
Well, Dell's put every ball around the pocket. So has Walter Ray Williams Jr. Dell Ballard, 10-pin the first frame strike. Got a little break. He got high in the 3rd. Moves a 10-pin against in the 4th. Walter Ray is still hanging right in the match. It's early going for a championship. 2 heavyweights.
All right, let's go to today our announcing colleague, Dave Houston.
Thanks, Chris. Here I am with the current king, Jason Couch. Jason, what's going to happen out there today? Are you going to play conservative, or are you going to let the big dog feed out there?
Well, Dave, the scores look really high out there, so I'm going to let the big dog feed and throw a lot of strikes.
The king's confident. Let's go back to you guys.
All right, David Houston. Dell Ballard jumping with joy on their approaches. He has a strike in the 5th frame, a close match.
See if Walter can recompose himself. Now, he's playing a much different angle than he said in his interview. He's much farther left. He's using a reactive resin ball. He's going to be over in this area right now, and he was a lot farther to the right earlier in the tournament. And, Chris, it could be a strategic mistake to switch balls. He was using all week, when I watched him, a non-reactive resin bowling ball, playing right up the 2nd arrow. That was his game plan going in. All of a sudden, he switches the reactive resin, plays the deep inside line, and he's in a little bit of trouble.
Coming up next, Wide World of Sports will feature the 2nd challenge of the Jeep Superstars, plus celebrate the International Special Olympics presented by Dollar Rent-A-Car. And from Kentucky, it's the Bluegrass Stakes, along with the hard hits and high sticks of indoor lacrosse. Now the Walter Ray Williams fans begin to show their medal. And now the Dell Ballard fans. Dell has a strike up. He's shooting in the 6th frame. Leads by 13. Leads by 23. Well, you've been to Toronto.
Yes, I have, Chris. Toronto next week, our tournament on the PBA Tour. As you see, Del Ballard taking a 23-pin lead, and he likes the shot. And I'm sure he'll head up to Toronto and like the hospitality of those folks up there as we have some international flavor to the PBA Tour in week 15. Now Ballard, 7th frame, can take a 30-pin, 3-pin lead.
You know, with the Bluegrass Stakes on Wide World today, my last trip to Toronto was to announce the Secretariat's second-to-last race with Eddie Arcaro. Today's U.S. Open champion will have to roll up his pant legs to get to his trophy. Just look.
If you're looking into faucets, Peerless means plenty. America's leading do-it-yourself faucet. In hundreds of styles and finishes. All made with solid brass valve construction. And all warranty for as long as you own your home. The best made, best back, do-it-yourself faucets in America. That's what Peerless means.
With Minwax polyurethane, you can do more than admire your wood. You can live with it, too, because Minwax contains pure urethane oil to protect wood while giving it beauty you can really live with. Minwax keeps wood beautiful.
Just in time for National Woodworking Month, Minwax introduces Wood Beautiful, an exciting new magazine devoted to decorating with wood. Make your home more beautiful. Get your free magazine. Call 1-800-44-STAIN.
It's your passport for high-rolling action. The world's best bowlers are leaving the country and storming into Canada for the Iowa Foresters Open next week on ABC's Pro Bowlers Tour.
This is Mike Connor from Akron, Ohio, Commissioner of the Professional Bowlers Association. Seated with other dignitaries, whom you will meet a little bit later on.
There's a man who dominated the tournament. First. 56 games. Right now, he trails by 33.
Oh, my goodness. He's had that problem all year, hasn't he?
Unbelievable. You know, when he won the Erie tournament about a month ago, he said, I finally got some breaks. And he's getting some breaks here as you see him slide in this area. And he doesn't have a problem drifting around the ball return, but he's left a solid 9, a forced 9, and then the solid 8. And this solid 8 was the biggest of them all because he needed to keep some pressure on Ballard Jr. Chris, the weather's a little shaky outside, but we have some friends that are under the weather, so to speak. A speedy recovery to your finest and your lovely Fran Schenkel, who's recovering from a slight mishap, and PBA friend Daryl Ducat, our host of our PBA National, recovering from heart surgery.
Yeah, we wish them both fast. Get the wheels back. Look at that, a 10.
Look at this game. Deadeye has bowled for all the wheat. Strike, 4-pin, 7-pin, 4-9, a little high, strike, solid 8, solid 10. This is just a case of bad luck.
Four times the World Junior Horseshoe Pitching Champion, 5 times the World's Senior. Didn't bowl, didn't start until he was a senior in high school. Now, seeking his 3rd major victory, Del Ballard.
He'll show no mercy. If I know Del, he'll go right to the whip.
The Eddie Arcaro of bowling.
His reaction, and you watch Walter Ray's reaction to not only the strike, but the close the door shot. Walter doesn't like it. There's nothing he can do. Very little defense in this sport. Is former U.S. Open champion trying to win his 2nd. Del Ballard Jr. has a commanding 44-pin lead. Solid 5. good shot. His importance of keeping the ball in play as he looks down at his wrist and fingers. But very, very cerebral shot here. He didn't want to overpower it. Take a chance on getting an open frame. Has an easy spare. And he'll have a little victory lap here if he can make this spare.
And for Walter Ray, as we said, his best U.S. Open finish, below 5, was 8th of last year. He was the 86th player of the year. And 22,000, the only consolation for this competitor is the fact that maybe it isn't even consolation. He takes the money lead on the tour and has a big leg up on Player of the Year and a lot of other things. And Del Ballard now makes his presence known.
Well, Walter Ray has just been dominant. We have 6 categories: money, average, championship round appearance, match play appearances, games, and championship round record. Walter Reed's in every single category as of week 13.
But Bo, when you're battling for that first major, even though you were the Player of the Year and won so many things, he's talking now to his opponent. There's Paige Pennington, his fiancée.
Well, Walter bowled. It doesn't show how good a game he bowled. He's going to be in the 190s, but it easily could have been 230, 240, or 250. Last year, we had a little good luck by our colleague Robert Lawrence as he defeated Scott Devers. Once again, the U.S. Open. Very competitive, yet the good luck favored one player. Both Texas players, Del Ballard this year, Robert Lawrence last year.
And 2 of his 3 majors, he has defeated Walter Ray Williams Jr. Del Ballard, in disbelief, looked back to see that they all went.
Just having fun. Possible 238 with 2 more strikes. There's a star right there, Del Ballard Jr., and a couple of stars in my eyes, Chris, that have birthdays today.
Yes.
Mark Roth, the 1984 U.S. Open champion, and my big star, Nelson Burton Jr., or Nelson Burton III. My boy is 14 today as you have a new U.S. Open champion, Del Ballard Jr.
Tripper enjoyed Del Ballard's work today, and Del is happy, consoling, trying to Walter Ray Williams Jr. ABC Sports presentation of the Professional Bowlers Tour will return after this message in a word for our ABC stations. King of the Hill coming up.
You're about to see the power of subliminal advertising. Now, can you name bowling's hookingest and bashingest ball? It's the Rhino Pro line in several distinctive urethane formulations to improve any game. Only at your local pro shop.
Hi, Pat Summerall here at True Value, where the main attraction is personal service. Or is it low prices? Well, let's find out.
They do have sales, and you can tell it's a sale price. It's not just a few pennies. It's a real sale.
I like their quality and their service.
You look for that one star and you trust it, and that's where you go.
For personal service and low prices, bring your family to ours, the True Value family of stores.
Everything I needed to move into my new house, I bought right here.
Sunday on day 1, Officer Lawrence Powell, of over 50 blows to Rodney King, he struck the most. As his explosive trial comes to an end, he talks to day 1 Sunday.
Harrisburg Copiers wants to say something that may shock you. Don't buy a copier, buy a copy for 2.5 cents. With your 2.5 cents copy, you'll also receive a Minolta High Productivity Copier, which includes a recirculating document feeder, automatic 2-sided copying, and 20 bin sorter. Included in your 2.5 cent copy, you'll also get toner, developer, service, everything you need to make a copy. So why buy a copier when you can get a copy for 2.5 cents? You can only get your 2.5 cents copy from Harrisburg Copiers, the innovators in copier technology. Call for information today.
You're about to see the power of subliminal advertising.
Now, can you name bowling's hookingest and bashingest ball? It's the Rhino Pro line in several distinctive urethane formulations to improve any game. Catch the Rhino Pro at one of these official Rhino Pro shops.
Fired or divorced several times? Wake up. It might be you. Nick Donahue.
Hello, I'm Jim McKay, reporting from Lexington, Kentucky. We'll be going back to bowling in a minute. But coming up on ABC's Wide World of Sports, the road to the Kentucky Derby continues with a report on today's running of the Bluegrass Stakes. We'll have the second preliminary in the Jeep Superstars. Headlining the field of stars will be defending champion Mike Powell. Also from Austria, we'll celebrate the Special Olympics World Winter Games presented by Dollar Rent-A-Car. And finally, the hard hits and high sticks of indoor lacrosse, all coming up next at 4:30 Eastern on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Defeated Ted Hannas of Ohio 245 to 202. Okay, in the United States Open in Canandaigua, New York, in the first match, Tony Westlake defeated Ted Hannas 245 to 202. And in our second match, Ballard Jr. defeats Tony Westlake 268 to 200. Mr. Ballard then moves into the final against the tournament leader, very talented Walter Ray Williams Jr., 237 to 193. That means Del Ballard will be into the King of the Hill after we show you that Ballard has picked up a check for 42, Williams or 40, Williams 22, Westlake 12, Ted Hannas $8,000. Great tournament here thus far, and in Bo, I expect with Jason Couch, the king, should be a good match.
Well, it will be, Chris. Jason Couch last week, as he defeated Ricky Ward, just cut it loose. You can see him in the real pivotal frames coming out, and Ward finishing the 10th frame. Pretty strong. He was in the 220s. And right now, Couch, after his first victory, just needed a mark to lock up the King of the Hill. He left a 3-pin. This is the 10th. He'll make that spare. However, today, Chris, it's a much different environment. Del Ballard Jr., who just won the U.S. Open, is averaging a fabulous 252. Jason Couch, with that high backswing and wild shot, it's all power, is going to really have his hands full. It's going to be interesting to see if the youth of Couch can prevail.
That's right. There we go with that handshake, and we're ready to go. Ron Williams was our first King of the Hill, a dominant one. Then Walter Ray Williams for a couple of weeks. Ricky Ward, and then Jason Couch, who will be shooting first here today. King of the Hill has averaged 234 of the first 12 matches. The loser, 209. This week, Jason finished 77th.
Pretty good opening shot. You'll notice the Jason Couch power. He's got that youthful power. Just lean on it and whip it. That's a lot of fun when you have that much talent and that much youth, and you got a victory under your belt. He'll be heading to the Firestone in 2 weeks.
All right. That always nervous first frame completed for Couch. This man should be not nervous at all because he had a huge United States Open victory over Walter Ray Williams Jr. And there goes Del Ballard.
You know, just to wind up the U.S. Open, we had 240 players. We had 96 league players that bowled, and they averaged 183 for the 96 league players in the tournament. The touring pros averaged 200. Now Ballard, the champ, going for a double in the King of the Hill match.
That's going to have
to... Soft 10. 6 pins, second pin on the right-hand part of your screen. Just kind of fall off in the channel. Not enough impetus to pop the 10 out.
Now Couch, after a spare in the first frame, shooting in the second. on the right lane. He's a 23-year-old one-time champion, winning last week. Dancing off the deck.
Pretty sweet, the full power. He has the high backswing. That's something we haven't seen on today's action, because on the demanding lane conditions they had all week long, you have to have a shorter backswing, something you can repeat time after time to keep the ball in play and make some spares. Now, however, when he's had an hour's practice on this championship here, he may fare a little bit better against U.S. Open champion Del Ballard and defend his King of the Hill title.
10-pin lead, Couch over Ballard. Next week it's Toronto area for a big tournament. 2 weeks from today, the $300,000 Firestone Tournament of Champions.
Got a hit. All right, come on. Get it started.
Well, just joined us, Del Ballard, at whom you're looking, won the United States Open for the second time with a 237-193 victory over Walter Ray Williams, Jr.
Del's average first place check, probably the best in all of bowling, $38,000 coming into this tournament. He adds to that with that $40,000 check. Now he's trying to add $5,000 more. Come on, hit!
Del Ballard, accustomed to huge checks, and an all-even match here for the King's spot. The quest for King of the Hill is underway, but what do you think these kids are searching for?
Hot coffee and steak in front of strangers at 30,000 feet? Not till I switched. Now I fix it and forget it.
That's good. When people are watching you this closely, you just can't be worried about your dentures. That's why I Fix-A-Dent and forget it.
Fix-A-Dent holds stronger than any other adhesive. It even stands up to the hottest liquids.
Sister, Grandpa? He never would have tried this with his old adhesive.
For the strongest hold you can get, Fix-A-Dent and forget it.
You've just poured the milk on your bowl of Kellogg's Crispix when something keeps you from it.
There we go.
Good thing Crispix has a special shape that stands up to milk. So even if you can't get to it right away, Crispix still stays crispy and great tasting.
They're still crispy.
Kellogg's Crispix, the taste that waits for you.
Who's got the edge? Boitano, Hamilton, Trannery, Davis, or Carrigan? Our country's greatest skaters compete Sunday on ABC Sports.
Hershey's Kisses tomorrow. Ooh, lots of happy holiday Easter folks here in Canandaigua at the Roseland Bowl. 60 lanes, hundreds of people. They're watching the King of the Hill, Jason Couch, who won a week ago the Tums Classic, going against the U.S. Open winner, Del Ballard. It's all even. This is Couch's fourth frame, double working.
Gets a good break there. Breaks up the 4-10. The match was all even. Spare here, he'll trail by 1. Here we go. Right through the middle. You have the 10 standing. 7-pin tips out. Almost gets a break from behind. Jason, good spare techniques.
King of the Hill, Jason Couch, averaged under 200 this week, but he's not shaken.
I think I'm at no disadvantage at all. I started the week out on C Squad. This tournament is very long. It's 24 games, 8 games per day, and I started on C Squad, which is very tough. The lanes hook a lot on C Squad, and I couldn't compete with the hook, and I bowled really good on A and B Squad, and that'll be today's condition. And I think I'll bowl really well.
Seen a lot of 4s today, Bo.
Yeah, and a kind of a boilerplated shot from the 4th frame. As his fiancée Kelly Ryan looks on. He breaks down the 410, has an easy spare, and he's talking about his difficulty on the night squads. He'll learn that as he bowls on the tour. He'll learn how to control that big hook ball when the lanes are dry. Ballard, who lets no dollar squeeze out of his pocket anytime, right now leads by 2, can make it 12.
Come on, we'll be king.
As we indicated earlier, his last win was in 1992 in Sayville, Long Island, New York.
Here's a man who will be closing in on $1 million before the year is up. He's up in that 960,000 bracket right now. Just getting all he can get. There'll be a victory party. He'll buy a few sodas for a few of his friends. Probably Robert Lawrence will get a soda, and that'll be about the end of it.
You want to be king? Yeah, you do.
Robert Lawrence, defending champion, won here last year from Austin, Texas. Dell from Richardson, Texas.
All right, Jason Couch, the first lefty we've seen, he'll end up doing almost the same thing the righties have. If you got a mirror, it'll look the same. He'll slide over in this area, and he'll be playing a deep inside line. Boom.
Well, you're looking at the 1992 Rookie of the Year. Has won championship. Has held King of the Hill for a week and going against the US Open winner.
Now we saw how the ball return has an effect on the right-hand players. Now on the right-hand lane, now on the left-hand lane, it affects the left-handed player. Jason will be here, and he'll kind of drift around this and end up right about this zone. Try to make a double out of this and close the gap to 22 pins. The 7. Now the shot he uses for the 7 pin to convert, he'll eventually learn this shot for his strike ball when lanes get very dry. The soft 7. Jason uses a shot, high speed, no hook, real straight. Good technique.
Two pins.
The full approach, using all those dots that we talked about earlier.
Oh, got the 8 out.
Got the 8 out. Being facetious, Del Ballard. We did see a few 8-10s this week. And once again, he'll line up with the dots with his feet, the arrows with his eyes. He'll be go between the 4th and 5th arrow. Has a number of 10-pin conversions a day, and I expect him to make this one.
Okay. Pretty good sigh. He usually talks more with that little microphone there, you see.
Well, he was pretty chirpy for 40,000, but for 5, he seems a little more sedated.
Oh, he wants that King of the Hill. Making by Del Ballard. Spare is up for Jason Couch, shooting in the 8th frame.
Jason, a complete power player, uses the fingertip grip down to the first knuckle, spreads the index finger, tucks the pinky. He'll cup the wrist at the top of the swing and cut it loose. However, direction is 95% of the expertise needed in any game played with a ball. A lot of power leaves himself a tough spare. For a left-hander, he has to get right in this zone and drive the 2 back and hopefully take out the 4 and the 8. Tough spare with this oil pattern. If he sends it wide, it'll hang. Very nice. Ninth frame, Couch coming up, trails by 23, potential 225 game. Ballard coasting at a 228 pace.
If you missed our first match, Tony Westlake defeated Ted Hannes 245-202, then Ballard 268 to Westlake's 200, and then in winning the U.S. Open title 237-193 over Walter Ray Williams.
This is a tough split because if he sends the ball wide to cover outside the 2 pin, it'll hang and slide into the 7. If he doesn't send it wide, he'll take the 2 straight back. What he needs to do is get it over in this area and let the ball deflect from the 2 into the 7. His best chance is a lot of speed and very little hook. No, didn't do it. No.
Ninth frame open for Jason Couch.
That's what you want.
We're happy to say our statistician, Butch Soper, finished 10th in the United States Open.
Butch, as I said, as we reviewed the top 24, won 26 consecutive games without missing a spare. That's great bowling, Butch. I'm sure you're looking forward to going up to Toronto to garner some of that cash as we have a new King of the Hill champion right here, Del Ballard Jr.
Butch was born way too late. He could have been in Frank Esposito's Make That Spare show and made a ton.
Yes, you could have. Back some 25 years ago, there's some big cash for making spares. However, it still pays dividends.
And you can always shoot 190, right? That's like the great giant baseball player Bobby Thompson. The first time I played golf with him, he said if you get a 5 on every hole, you'll shoot 90. So, you know.
Solid performance by Del Ballard Jr.
And he is the new King of the Hill. The U.S. Open champion and the PBA King of the Hill. This happening on the shores of Canandaigua Lake, upstate New York. We'll be back.
You've just poured the milk on your bowl of Kellogg's Crispix when something keeps you from it. Good thing Crispix has a special shape that stands up to milk. So even if you can't get to it right away, Crispix still stays crispy and great tasting.
They're still crispy.
Kellogg's Crispix, the taste that waits for you.
Around the turn of the century, in a small Detroit carriage shop, Harvey Firestone met a fellow young inventor named Henry Ford. Firestone tires have been seen almost everywhere ever since. On Fords, Chevrolets, tractors, trucks, Indy Lights, and Saturns. Firestone, America's tire since 1900.
Presenting the awesome Yardman lawn tractor with an automatic transmission, 18 horsepower industrial engine. It bags, mulches, and discharges, all for the price of much tamer tractors. Yardman mowers and tractors, made in America.
Okay, this is the way the afternoon went. The last match being King of the Hill. Del Ballard winning that as well. And, of course, he is the United States Open champion. And as a result, today has won $45,000. Walter Ray Williams, 22. Westlake, 12. And, hey, we finally got a smile out of Del Ballard. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot. You know, now all the business is over with. It's time to have fun.
That's the truth. Bill Blue, Chief Executive Officer of the Bowling Proprietors Association of America, putting on the symbolic green jacket in bowling.
Oh, yeah. I'd like to say thanks to Bill here and everybody at the BPAA. They ran a great tournament this week, and everybody here at Roseland Bowl, the fans are great. Even when Kim Moscato was in the finals, even whenever you bowled at him, they clapped for you, too, and that was really classy of you guys.
Speaking of class, classy trophy from Jack Moran, the proprietor here.
Congratulations, Del. It's been certainly a privilege hosting the Pro Tour this week, and you're truly a good champion. Thank you.
President of the Bowling Proprietors, John Laspina, is here.
Thank you, Chris. Welcome back, Mr. Del Ballard Jr. King of the Hill, $5,000. And on behalf of the 3,200 members of the Bowling Proprietors Association of America, $40,000. Great bowling, Del, and welcome back.
I'd like to say thanks here to Jack and everybody here with Roseland Bowl and BPAA. It's my second U.S. Open. Much more memorable than my first one because you never know if you're ever going to win that next title, and it was great to come back here.
Glad to have a great champion.
Thank you.
Maybe another Shelby in your future.
Oh, you never know. Looking at them every day.
Of course, Toronto, have you bowled there before?
No, this is our first year going there, and I'm looking forward to going to Toronto. It's supposed to be really nice there, and looking forward to it.
Well, everybody knows as they watch the telecast that Del Ballard is back.
Well, I'm just glad to be back, let me tell you, and I'm proud to be king, too.
Thank you, Bowling Proprietors. Wonderful event. Thank you all. See you next week. For Bo Burton, I'm Chris Schenkel. Happy Easter. Happy holidays.
The Professional Bowlers Tour has been brought to you by Kellogg's, the best to you each morning. By Firestone, America's tire since 1900. And by Yardman, makers of high-performance mowers and tractors. American-made, American-owned. Coming up next on ABC's Wide World of Sports, world-class athletes meet in Cancun for the second challenge in the Jeep Superstars. And from Austria, celebrate the International Special Olympics. Plus from Kentucky, the Bluegrass